The views and opinions expressed by the guests, callers, and hosts on this and all Rense Radio Network programs do not necessarily reflect or agree with those of the network, its commercial sponsors, its radio station affiliates, or Internet broadcast platforms. In these controversial times, we believe the First Amendment and freedom of the press are absolutely essential to the survival of our nation. Thank you. And now, enjoy the program.
Okay, and welcome back. It is the day before Valentine's Day. Hope you have a wonderful day tomorrow and a great weekend. We're going to start off tonight with a visit with our friend Gerald Celente. I've been looking at the new winter edition of the TrendsJournal, and it's extraordinary. If Time magazine looked this good and had the content that Gerald has, it would be very happy indeed. It's a junkyard now. The TrendsJournal is, without question, one of the finest print magazines on news, and we could call them current events, anywhere on the planet, period. Any country, anywhere. It's that good. And I kid you not. Let me just read a little bit from Gerald's opening statement. It's very, very well said. He writes, "This is my 34th year of forecasting trends. For the past dozen or so, when analyzing the trends that would shape much of the year ahead, I would say, how sad the future looks, less promising than the past. Unfortunately, I've been right. Each year ends worse than the year before, and I'm not alone. Along with indisputable socioeconomic statistics and hard geopolitical facts to back up my forecasts, even the polls agree. A just-released AP NORC Center for Public Relations and Affairs, a research poll found that 70% of Americans have no faith in government to make progress on the important problems and issues facing the country in 2014. 70% of Americans have no faith in government. When I was growing up, writes Gerald, it was a given that my future would provide greater opportunities than my parents, the greatest generation, had enjoyed. Not anymore. A majority, 54%, say life in America is worse today than 4 decades ago. I would suggest, Gerald, that 54% would say life is worse this year than it was last. We don't have to go back 4 decades. The curve has to be down. The graph has to be headed downward. I know of no one who is better off than they were a year ago. Now, I'm sure there are some, maybe plenty. I don't know anybody. And if we go to the polls, as we must, ask yourself quite simply when you go to vote for an incumbent, am I better off now than I was 2 years ago or however many years ago that incumbent took office, depending on who you're voting for? And if the answer is no, vote the other guy or gal. We got to do something to shake this up. Anyway, congratulations on another brilliant TrendsJournal, my friend.
Thank you. I have a great team and a lot of dedicated people. The design people, Circle Media, I mean, they're just...
They're wizards.
And the woman Lynn who does it. These people, I mean, they're pros. They've been around a long time, and they love working on the TrendsJournal. And they do. This is a major group out of Rhode Island, and they've done, you name the newspapers and magazines. They've helped create them in terms of and fashion and development and style.
The format and style. See, now it's really hard to come up with a format and a style because it's all basically been done before, but somehow they have. Yeah,
it's unique. And they said to me that, I mean, remember, these are people, these are no kids, they've been around a long time. This is one of the greatest project they've ever worked on.
Really?
Because,
nice.
Yeah. And the reason being, two reasons: the content, and I know what I know, and I don't know how to lay out a magazine. I know trends. And what happens is when they work for major corporations, there's always, we can't go too far out, beyond what we have. We don't want to confuse the reader. And so they're always held back, where I've given them complete freedom.
Right. They're also on a leash.
So they, I just want them to create, they have the talent, and they've made a magazine that I say is beyond life and ahead of time. There's nothing like it, as you said.
No, there isn't.
There's nothing like it anywhere. And when you read it, and you look at today's news, you read history before it happened. It's in there. It's going on in front of us. And, you were talking, Jeff, about voting and the parties that are in. And, you know what the difference between Republicans and Democrats are?
Tell me.
It's the same difference as between a sociopath and sociopath.
I agree.
A psychopath and a sociopath.
There you go. Perfect.
So don't forget to vote. You're going to vote for either a sociopath or a psychopath. And I don't know what has happened. I'm telling you where I am in this stage of what I'm doing. I'm so tired of repeating the facts.
It's true.
You have no idea. How many numbers have to be added up? How many atrocities have to be shown to the people? How many crimes have to be committed before they say, oh, yeah, it's true? And I'm asking myself, what has killed the Yankee spirit?
They're dysfunctional. They're defective now. I'm not sure they're dead. They may as well be. But your point is right on the money. How many facts does it take? How many times do you have to tell them before they get it? I'm really wondering now if it's even possible to get through to the majority anymore.
Well, now, here's my other thought. We could blame the dumbing down in America. We can certainly blame the terrible foods that they're eating and all the prescription drugs that are deadening their mind. There's no and the culture. I mean, you and I, we both appreciate great music, from Verde to Lanza to Frank Sinatra to Count Basie and Duke Ellington to Ella Fitzgerald,
don't forget
Benny
Cab
Goodman,
Calloway.
Artie Shaw. You go up and down the list, sideways, backways, in between, to Louis Armstrong to Django Reinhardt. And what do we have now? We have Nicki Minaj.
We have four-letter words.
Yeah, you a hoe, 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 you a stupid hoe. Compare that to Ella Fitzgerald.
Right.
And you go back and forth. So we're looking at everything that's declining, and we could say, okay, this is why the people have lost. This is what's killed the Yankee spirit that made this country what it was. And I don't want to hear from anybody. Yeah, I know we did what we did to the Native Americans and the genocide. I know about slavery. But I also know about the great things of this country. And anybody showing me that they're living a perfect life, then we could talk. But I know the great things that this country brought so many people and the envy of the world. And I, who am thrilled, and I would not want to come back in any other form other than having Italian blood. I could never be who I am if I wasn't born in America.
That's beautifully said.
I could look at all the negative points, and we could say what's bad about it, what's stopping it from happening. The Yankee spirit that made this country what it was. What happened to it? we could blame all those things. And then I started thinking, Jeff, and you know why I bought these buildings in Colonial Kingston, New York.
Yep.
I came back from Berlin, which had to be, Germany had to be at the height of Western civilization in the 1930s.
Absolutely.
Philosophically, scientifically, culturally.
Greatest country on the face of the earth at that time.
At the time, right?
At the time.
How can they let a two-bit freak destroy their country? It wasn't the culture. It wasn't the prescription drugs. It's the human spirit. And whether it's Germany or Italy, as you and I love, with the greats, but Puccini, Rossini, Michelangelo, Da Vinci, how can they let a two-bit freak like Mussolini destroy their country?
Boggles the mind. Boggles the mind.
So that's where I'm at now.
I'm there with you.
I'm asking this question.
Yeah.
Because you have the sociopaths and lunatics in charge. If I was on your show, first time on your show, you want to come back after the break?
No, let's go through the break. Go ahead.
Okay. First time on your show, and I said to you, Mr. Rense, I'm really good at killing people.
Mm-hmm.
What would you honestly think?
You said that to me on the air?
Yeah.
That was just by way of introductory material?
As we're talking about what was going on, and all of a sudden out of nowhere I say, Mr. Rense, I'm really good at killing people.
A lot of things would go through my mind instantly. Is this guy a military veteran? Has he watched too much TV? Don't know. That's a tough one.
I mean, you'd be ready to get a straitjacket from me.
Well, it's a sociopathic, psychopathic statement, and what's behind it is... Well, you know what I just thought of when you said that? I thought of the hundreds of thousands of U.S. military veterans whose lives have been destroyed because they've been put in Iraq, Afghanistan, and other places where they've actually killed innocent human beings, and they have to live with that. Now, if that doesn't create a sociopathic dilemma in a moral person that will destroy someone for life, nothing will. So when you said that to me, I thought, my God, what caused this?
All right, now let's not think about those people, and let's put it into the President of the United States saying that I'm really good at killing people.
Oh, he is, too.
That's his comment according to a book that was written that has never been denied by the White House. So anyone saying that kind of comment, anybody listening out there sitting down and imagining someone they met saying that I'm really good at killing people, they would be saying, oh my God, I got a crazy person here. And people don't want to admit that lunatics, and I'm saying clinically, by their behavior and their words, are running the country. And it's no different than a lunatic like Hitler or Mussolini or Pol Pot or Clinton or Bush or Obama or Hillary Clinton or Pelosi or McConnell or Reid or Boner.
Endless line.
An endless line. What is stopping? What has killed the Yankee spirit? What's stopping people from preventing lunatics from destroying their lives? Because that's what they're doing. They're robbing them of their money, and you just pointed out all the innocent people that they sent over to these foreign countries, which the tab now is at $6 trillion for Afghanistan and Iraq war, to slaughter millions of people.
Millions. No joke, folks. Millions.
And destroy our own citizens and the future of our nation. What is stopping? What has killed the American spirit? Why do the people lack the passion and the courage to stop the madness?
We have seen this. That's an historic question when you think about it.
I know.
Because
and
it's
we're
happened.
In that position.
Yes, it's happened over and over again throughout recorded history. Now, this country had something really special. And I like to think of Americans as probably in the last century, in the middle of the last century, as being the most benevolent, this after the big war, World War II, kind, generous people
Yep.
We gave and gave and gave. And before the two world wars, we took in people from Ellis Island. My God, your ancestors, my ancestors came in to this country. We opened our hearts as Americans to those people. And now look at it. Those kinds of people no longer come here to become Americans. We're being drowned in illegal immigrants. They could give a crap about this country's history, its heritage, its values, its morals. They don't want anything to do with America except to leech from it that which they can take.
You know, we have this new mayor over here in New York, de Blasio.
Oh, he's something else.
Isn't he? You know what his real name is?
You go from bad to worse there.
You know what his real name is? You know, a lot of Italians in New York.
Yeah.
His real name is Warren Wilhelm Jr. Anybody could look this up.
It's true.
He's changed his name 3 times.
True story.
So now this guy, first he says, you know, how transparent he's going to be, and he goes to an APEC meeting, you know, that Jewish lobbying group that...
The strong arm, the muggers. Yeah.
He goes there, and a reporter's there. They throw the reporter out, but the reporter someone takes a audio tape of what he said.
Uh-huh.
And among the things he said, part of the job description, I'm paraphrasing, but anyone could look it up, APAC de Blasio, it's easy. Part of the job description as mayor of New York is to defend Israel.
I'm really glad you brought that up. I want you to say that again, folks. Now listen carefully to this.
Part of the job of mayor of New York, the job description, he used that term, job description, is to defend Israel. Oh, so what are you out of your mind? Who put this in your head? You're a traitor. Your job is to be mayor of New York, Junior. Wilhelm Jr. Then he goes on to say that his office, City Hall, is always open to AIPAC.
Unbelievable.
And that according to his philosophy, every American, again I'm paraphrasing, is the duty to defend Israel. And I've been tweeting this, by the way, and I put the de Blasio so they get it. You want to defend Israel, pack up your wife, your kids, and yourself, and go over there and fight. And then I'm thinking to myself, you know, it's de Blasio. He's married to, it looks like an African woman, very dark woman, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good
and,
luck.
you know, if this was apartheid in South Africa, he'd be screaming bloody murder.
Yep.
But so I thought to myself, if only these Palestinians would get a couple of shades darker, then they could call it apartheid.
That's a very interesting point, too. Half facetious, but right on the money. The Israeli nation, it's an
apartheid nation.
It's a racist, genocidal apartheid nation, privately constructed, conceived of, and bankrolled by the City of London bankster, gangster thugs. That's what Israel is. Openly racist. They've given numbers, folks. They haven't tattooed them on, but they've given numbers to all the Africans who claim Jewish ancestry and others who have emigrated to Israel. They put them in camps. They're going to evict them. These people are so over the line, it is beyond belief.
And you will also make note that anyone criticizing the policies of Israel, I want to make this 100% clear, and if they don't understand it, do your homework before you contact me. If I criticize Israel, I am not anti-Semitic. Israel is a country. Jewish is a religion. Number 2, the people that are running Israel and account for over 40% of their population, I believe 47%, and the people that have been the prime ministers from Ben-Gurion to Meir to Sharon to Netanyahu, up and down the line, they are not Semites. Capisce? They're Ashkenazi. Look it up, A-S-H, Ashkenazi, K-E-N-A-Z-I.
Ashkenazi. They call them Ashkenazim.
And it's an Ashkenazi is a Germanic term. Look at Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm.
These are not Semites.
They're Caucasian.
Semites are from the Mesopotamia area.
Right.
Palestinians are Semites.
They're the Semitic peoples. So
exactly, and as other Semites in the area are.
Right.
But not the Ashkenazi.
No.
So the Ashkenazi are different than the Semites. So if you criticize what's going on, you can call me an anti-Ashkenazi. I'll accept that.
Sure.
I am against Sharon. I am against... Oh, he's gone. What will his legacy be? He's a pile of dust like everybody else. What's his way? Who cares? Ben-Gurion, and not to say all Ashkenazis are bad, just like to say not all Italians are good or bad, or all Palestinians. People are people. Creed, color, race, gender, people are people. But in the meantime, stop the anti-Semitic BS. Save it for the kiddies. This is an apartheid state. Going back to de Blasio and your term on immigration, to bring it back. He now wants to increase the benefits in New York City that will cost all of us people more benefits, rights, and health care and education for illegal immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
What am I, 6 years old? I don't know what the word illegal means? This is who this guy is. He is the biggest fraud to face the city in my lifetime, and I'm a Bronx, New Yorker.
It's just like every year we look back and the year behind us is getting worse every year. The mayors in New York are getting worse every year. This guy's
a clown.
Is unbelievable.
He's a little boy. And everyone should go and listen to that speech of his at AIPAC. He is a traitor.
Well,
I am an American.
Yeah.
I believe in the principles upon which America was founded upon. The basics, by Jefferson, by Washington at his farewell address. No foreign entanglements. No foreign entanglements. The people that gave their lives, not these little boys, these little Bushes or Clintons or Obamas that couldn't fight their way out of a paper bag. These were the men on the front lines risking their lives and leading the troops, saying no foreign entanglements, and I got a bunch of jerks over here telling me, no, Washington's full of crap, and so was Jefferson, Franklin, Adams, and all of the rest.
And the Constitution is just a shitty little piece of paper. You got it. This man should be immediately tossed. Where are the pitchforks? Where are the torches? Where are the people in the streets? He goes in front of AIPAC, gets on his knees, and grovels, and admits out loud and to the world that he is a traitor to the United States of America. That man is no more an American than a piece of rock is. Be right back in a couple. Okay, and welcome back. The TrendsJournal, I really do hope you're a subscriber. If not, you really are missing something. A lot of us don't have much time to read in this fast-paced lunacy we call culture, but this is one you want to read because it'll prepare you for next month, next week, next year, whatever. It is an extraordinary publication. I don't know, that's enough said for now. Okay, there is madness afoot. You just outlined it, the new mayor of New York. It's just like our years that you mentioned. They get worse every year. This guy really ought to be evicted immediately from office. I don't know how they do it, what the mechanics of it are. But when the American political parade goes in front of the AIPAC group and literally gets on its knees and drools and grovels, pledging loyalty and fealty forever to the state, the Zionist state of Israel, these people should be disqualified from holding any public office at all. They are literally putting this country in a secondary position. I don't care how you want to dissect it. That's what they're doing. Yeah. That's where the money is.
Exactly.
It's all about money.
And again, to make this 100% clear, if it's Israel, Italy, Ireland, I don't care.
Don't matter.
It's not an issue. I want my money. I'm an American. I want my money in this country. I believe in the principles upon which this country was founded. No foreign entanglements. Very simple.
And that means foreign aid, by and large, too, friends. Yeah. Forget this giving away
Forget this crap.
Hundreds of billions of dollars.
We can't bail out Detroit. It's them pension programs, I tell you.
How much have we given the Zionist state of Israel since its inception?
It's
over $1 trillion or more.
Yeah, it's over three. This year was over $3.1 billion. That we know.
Okay,
of.
Now here's the deal. They're called in Congress by these criminals in Congress guaranteed loans. Guaranteed by whom? By you and I, folks. How many dollars have been paid back on this trillion or so we have loaned Israel? Zero.
Again,
zero.
I'm going to make it even. This is how bad it's becoming. And I know people like to know about what's going on in the economy, and it all ties in. So first on the economy, and then going back to Israel, wrapping it up with it. The markets lost over $3 trillion in January. And as you know, you got our trend alert in the middle of December warning that it was going to happen. With the talk of the tapering, which we also nailed perfectly, we said they would taper, was going to cause chaos in the emerging markets because all of this stimulus, what it did was throw cheap money all around the world. You borrowed for zero, go to another country, get more interest rate on it, and you make dough on it automatically. You invest in that country, they borrow it, and they expand. Now with the tapering, that hot money that flowed in is flowing out. So what happened is that countries, the emerging markets that got all this cheap dough from the stimulus, now it's flowing out of the countries. They have to protect their currencies. So, for example, in Turkey, besides the political unrest going on, the money's flowing out. What do they have to do? They raised interest rates one day over 3%. Usually everybody raises them a quarter. A big deal if it's a 0.5%.
Right.
It's over 3%.
Yeah.
To protect the lira, it's crashing at all-time lows. Indonesia, India with their rupee, Argentina with their peso, Brazil with their real, Kazakhstan yesterday devalued their currency by 20%, trying to protect the outflows of money. Now we're going into February. The markets are freaking out. $3 trillion lost in 1 month. So now what's going on? Well, the unemployment numbers are going to come out on, the job numbers are going to come out on Friday. So remember, beginning of the month. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, things are pretty well even. Things calm down on Wall Street and the financial markets. Meantime, it's the Lunar New Year over there in China, so there's no trading in their markets. So things are quiet. Everybody's waiting for the big number on Friday. Now remember, this is only a week ago. So the number comes out. Wall Street's expecting, the economist from the surveys, approximately 189,000 new jobs. The number comes out, 113,000 jobs. And then all of these clowns, the little shills and little boys and girls on CNBC, the prostitute nation for the Wall Street gang, the little whores out there that get paid by the Wall Street pimps to apply their propaganda. These people are all on these shows, and the word was they're going to readjust the December numbers because people like Mark Zandi and others that are regulars on these shows that are quoted throughout the media, the mainstream, they mocked the numbers when they came out in January showing December's job rates. So December's job rates was 74,000. Now they're saying, here we are in February, they're going to readjust it. At the time when they all mocked it and said it was going to be readjusted, they were going to readjust it to 200,000 jobs in December. Now remember, this is last Friday. The new number comes out for December 2013. It did go up. It went up from 74,000 to 75,000.
Oh, jeez.
All right, so now the markets, boom, the markets shoot up. Now, I'm in this business a long time. What did the markets shoot up for? Things got worse. Now, anybody could go do this. Go to Yahoo Ticker. Aaron Tasker, interviews Jim Cramer, that shill on CNBC, the guy that likes to play clown.
He got away with a lot, that guy. I don't know how he's still around, but...
Well, he has a new book out, and quoted by Yahoo, not me, Cramer says, the market is rigged.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Shocking.
Anybody could go. You could go do it now. Yahoo, Tick Taper, whatever it is, Cramer, the market is rigged. Now, let's go back to Friday. The markets go up on bad news. Now remember, $3 trillion is eliminated in January.
Gone.
Gold, by the way, as we speak now, is over $1,300. It's gained almost $100 in a month.
All right, very good. Let's pause right there. Gold up $100 in the month. And Gerald and I will be right back after this. Okay, let's get right back to our conversation with Gerald. All right, we're talking about gold down, or rather up $100.
Right, so now what happens is now the markets, they go up after the bad news of job numbers. So now, remember now, again, in January, $3 trillion is wiped out. Emerging markets are all going down. Interest rates skyrocketing around, even in China, everywhere. And you don't raise interest rates in a declining economy. That only makes things worse. But they have to save their currency. Okay, so now there's panic on the streets. It calms down after the bad numbers. The market goes up. Going back to Cramer in that ticker, whatever it is, the Yahoo show, he said the game is rigged. All right, now we go into this week. And on Tuesday, the new Fed, the head of the Fed, Yellen. Well, she made it very clear that she does not want, Janet Yellen does not want to be called chairwoman. Of course, you can't call her chairman, but so I figured if she wants to be called Fed chair. So I figured, why don't we call her Facha Brute? But anyway, as we move forward. They're all waiting for, and by the way, I'll take a rap at the Fed anytime I can. It's Facha Brute, one after another. That little clown Greenspan that never said anything. Everyone pretended he was smart, and he didn't know what he was talking about, to this other flunky Bernanke. Facha Brute, one after another. And now you got another one in the place. A criminal operation, a private gang that's taken over the money of the United States, just to make this clear.
Yep.
So, now they're all waiting for her to come on Tuesday. What's she going to say? Well, she said the same BS. Probably another round of tapering, because they have to. They cannot continue to dump this unprecedented amount of tens and trillions of dollars into the system at no money to boost up the equity markets, at which the banks are borrowing for virtually nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to wind this down. They have to wind it down all over the world. They don't know how to do it. This is a new game, unprecedented in world history. So she makes that announcement. And with the little hint that if things get really crummy, we'll throw some more juice in there. The markets go up. Now, what do they go up about? All the fundamentals are terrible. You're looking now at housing prices really, really slowing down, and not because of weather, because you go back to the West Coast, and that's where they're really being the Southwest, that's where they're really being hit the hardest. So why are the markets going up? It goes back to Jim Cramer. The game is rigged. Now I'm going to go back to Israel. Do you know who the selection for the vice chairman of the Federal Reserve is?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, tell him.
Stanley Fischer, the former head of the Israeli Central Bank up until several months ago.
He was the Ben Bernanke of Israel, okay?
Right. Born in Zambia, an Israeli citizen.
Israeli citizen, folks. That's dual citizen. That's Israel first. Just remember that.
Now, everyone listening should understand, as thinking adults, that even if it is a criminal operation,
Of course it is.
The Federal Reserve, it's against everything that every election virtually in the 1800s was against putting a central bank in the United States. Jackson, all the way through, all the way up.
Exactly.
Anyway, now you start thinking about this. What are we, 316 million people? We don't have anybody here that they could put in that slot?
Nobody's qualified. Not
one.
Just like the ultra top security communication system between the White House and the Pentagon had to be put in by an Israeli company. There were no Americans capable of putting in a system like that. We just don't have the expertise or the intelligence.
We're just a bunch of morons.
Just idiots. That's also why an Israeli company does the billing for about 95% of American telephone communications companies. We don't have the ability to run our own billing systems over here. Amdocs, AMDOCS, look it up.
And then it goes back again, actually, to this Warren Wilhelm Jr., a.k.a. Bill de Blasio in New York. Yeah. He said to AIPAC also, as he begins his bow down, bend over, spread your legs and kiss up speech, he begins it with, we have Ambassador so-and-so here, whatever the guy's name is, and to Israel, or back and forth, and he's going to be moving now from New York to Miami Beach, but we want to let you know that Mr. So-and-so, that you're always welcome to come back here to New York because we need people like you. What are you talking about? How about people like us?
We don't count, sorry.
These people, it's a separate club.
Sure
it's Harvard, Princeton, Yale, bullets, bombs, and banks. It's a complete takeover. And people better get it in their heads that if they don't do something very fast, they are going down very quickly, because they have a track record that the Republican and Democratic mafia, the Bloods and the Crips, the murderers and the thieves, is to take your life and steal your money. And if you need any more proof, everybody's talking, did you hear about these bankers, 6 bankers that were dead in a week? What are they going to find? Well, you need more. What more proof do you need? How much more proof do you need? How many more fines do you need to get paid with no heads rolling on Wall Street?
Exactly.
How many billions more? How many more corrupt uncovering of events, whether it's the NSA, whether it's this latest leakage of the assistant Undersecretary of State Nuland in Ukraine on the tape with that little boy Pyatt, that little guy that's the ambassador of Ukraine, talking back and forth, FUEU.
Blank Europe. Look, what's going on in Ukraine is another despicable example of American imperialism being directed by the money bags at the top. They're trying a coup there. It's obvious. Everybody with a brain can see that. They're paying these demonstrators $50 a day. It's all organized. Another phony Soros color revolution. And I hope Putin stands firm and goes in there and brooms them out if he has to. This has got to stop. Somewhere it's got to stop.
And have you seen, I've been writing about it continually, the stream of propaganda coming out of the United States, beginning with the Sochi Olympics, is disgusting. I've read virtually every word of it.
Really? I don't know.
It is the propaganda at levels that are so imbecilic, and it's worked. Because now the latest polls came out, and Americans, and I've been writing about this as it began. I saw right through it.
Mm-hmm.
The latest polls came out. Americans' attitude toward Russia is at the lowest point since 1994. Oh, you remember all those stray dogs over there showing the toilets in the Olympics and all the rotted hotels and the anti-gay stuff and one after. Oh, don't forget! Alert! This is an alert. Breaking news. There's a toothpaste bomb. Do you hear about the toothpaste bomb? They may be on a plane to Sochi. Who can make this crap up?
I know. It's hard to believe.
A toothpaste bomb. How about a tampon missile? He's making this
just as frightening to me. I don't know.
And then you hear this little mouse blitzer on the Cartoon News Network.
And there's
a toothpaste bomb, a toothpaste bomb. And it worked. And it worked. The majority of people now have a negative impression of Russia. And Russia has done nothing to us.
Nothing.
And they made the Sochi Olympics, every little thing that they could pick on, they pulled apart.
Sure. No, it's all designed to stampede the sheep in one way or another, to direct them. Russia is actually turning into, in many ways. Did you ever read about Edgar Cayce when you were in college?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay. You may remember that Edgar Cayce, in one of his trance readings, said, one day Russia, and this is way before anything, this is in the 30s, would be the light of the world. And in some ways, people are looking to Russia and actually saying that there's in a tacit sense, more freedom in Russia than there is in the U.S. now.
Well, you saw the latest poll that came out about press freedom. America ranks 41 or 46
way down
in the
there
world.
And dropping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, and you're talking about Russia, when I didn't watch it, so I want to make this clear, but from what people told me and from what I read, that their opening ceremony was quite grand, from Stravinsky to great ballet. And, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now this guy Hirschenstein, or whatever his name is, in the New York Times, big story, and he'd write about it and then throw digs in it. Now, if I give you an example, while they went through the history of Russia, they conveniently left out the violent Stalinist regime. That's the kind of innuendo. That's the propaganda.
Hirschenstein.
So now, of course, when you saw the Chinese, when you saw the American, you saw the American ones. You remember in the American Olympics, they showed all of the genocide of the Indians.
Mm-hmm.
They showed all the slavery. You must have remembered that. So this is the kind of propaganda. But and then this clown, another little boy, another guy with cojones like mothballs, goes on to say how there was no pop culture.
You kidding me?
No.
He said
there was no what? Nicki Minaj? There was no Jay-Z?
No depravity.
There was only Stravinsky.
No depravity. No immorality. So, condemn them. How crude.
So that is going back to what you're saying. It was a restoration, a revival, and to me, that's what's going to bring back America. Restore America. Bring back the pride of this country, the Yankee pride.
Our values our ethics and our morals, second to none, and what you just described to me is rather disgusting. Hershenson is an Ashkenazim name, and Stalin was a Bolshevik, as in Zionist regime. So you got a Zionist Bolshevik regime responsible for slaughtering over 60 million people, and he's criticizing that? Pretty funny. Gerald, thank you for being here as always, and we'll talk to you next month. Take care.
Okay, man. All the best. Thanks for all you're doing.
Indeed. Thank you. Good night. Bye-bye. Okay, we'll be right back with Hour 2. 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 Be right back with Hour